Hey, this is John Siskovich from Farm Marketing Solutions and also Food Cyclist Farm. And this video today is about how to start a farm with no money. And I know that sounds crazy, but I've had virtually no money getting this thing going, and I'm doing all right so far. But there's a few things you have to take into consideration whenever you see a farm success story or one that's hopefully in progress, which is mine. And that's, everybody's story is different, everybody's situation is different. There's a few things can help you out along the way, but you know, all in all, there's no one key that's going to fit every lock. So some of the things, you know, being fully transparent with what I've been doing, I'm finding there's really two things that I've been doing that have helped me get the farm started without any grant money. Very, very little savings. A lot of the money that's going into the farm has been the money that I've gotten from my CSA members so far. I'm going to have a 50-person CSA. I'm about half sold out. So that money has been invested. And other than that, it's just been really being resourceful, thinking on your feet, and making something out of nothing. And that's a lot what this farm has been. So first piece of advice, find the cheapest land you can get. Right now I'm working with a farmer who has 400 acres plus at his disposal, and he gave me a little area to work on. I'm also raising chickens, so he does hay, so my chickens are going to run between his hay cutting. So cutting out that piece of land, the money part of land helped out immensely. So that, one way to cut down on expenses. The two things that I mentioned earlier, which is how I found the land, which is how I've gotten this many CSA members. Don't half do things. If you're going to do it all the way, and pay down your debts. Whenever I have a debt that I can pay, I pay it down immediately, or I have a plan to pay it. If you have a lot of debt, starting a farm might not be the best move for you right now, and it's the harsh reality. It may be something that you want to do, but it's not something that necessarily you should do right now. But I've been very active on paying down my debt so that I can take the chance with the rest of my savings and start a farm. With the not half doing anything, that's the way I can say it and not swear on YouTube, is that, I have a farm website and it looks great. It has all my information up there. I'm very transparent. I take a lot of photographs and it looks really professional. And even though as we walk around my farm in a minute, it doesn't look as professional as it's going to, my website puts up a really good front. And I myself, clean cut hair, clean cut beard. I do a little stubble thing, but I'm not dreadlocked. This is the dirtiest shirt I own, and I'm doing this video in it because it's the end of a farm day, and I want to show you that I'm actually farming, starting a farm and doing all right so far. And hopefully, you take my advice for what it is. So, walking around the farm real quick, starting a farm with no money. I found one of these old shipping containers on the cheap and filled it with waterproof food grade barrels that I'm storing 4,000 pounds of grain in right now. And didn't have to do too much work on that. I just had to roll it into place, sure up the roof. I found this tin that's over on the ground. This trailer is parked next to me. It has nothing to do with my farm, but it's one of the things when you find cheap farmland, you're gonna get these kind of eyesores. But I found this tin from a building that was taken apart. And I put that tin on the roof here, as you can kind of see, and that shored up my roof. Walking around. My next container is the back of a box truck. You can see that side door, and this would be where the rear gate is. I've found these pavers for free, made a little viewing area, found these boards, and this is my chicken area. My chickens are all started in there. This is predator proof and sound, and cost me very little money. I store something, I had a little overflow on grain, so my grain is here. It's not the fanciest thing, but my website puts a really good face on it, and I show my customers or potential customers that I'm working really hard at what I'm doing. I'm sharing my story, and in telling that story and being transparent, I've really gotten great feedback, and people are supporting me as a kind of budding, starting farmer. So some of the other things I've done, designed these chicken tractors. I designed. I'm a big proponent of measure twice, cut once, and designed them where they're cheaper than the versions that you would make for Jill Salatins. They're less expensive, They'll hold a little less birds, or fewer birds, but they have multiple uses. And you can see I'm assembling the fleet as we walk back. These work for having the chickens in them out on pasture. If the farm doesn't work out, I can sell them to other people for backyard chickens, if they want to use them for whatever. That you can see with the sides, I'm not going to have brooder boxes in it, but if you wanted to put brooder boxes in it, it'd be really easy. So you can have egg laying hens, and you got a simple door latch here that opens the door, and you can walk in and do whatever you want. Now, one of the other possibilities with these, and you'll see my tiny versions right now as I walk over, you can put greenhouse plastic over the top of them and make them as little greenhouses and use them as season extension. And with the wheels on the back, and these wheels that just pop on the back, you can bring them anywhere. You know, if you start your seeds in the field in the fall and roll your greenhouse plastic over it, these are my small versions. You can use these as cold frames as well. So I tried to do as many uses. Always have like 3 backup plans for anything you do. These are my small versions. I found some greenhouse plastic on Craigslist. Some pressure treated 2x4s were in a pile. I pulled all the nails out. Just another reclaimed pile of trash. And I actually bought the EMT, which is electrical conduit. I could have done the whole thing out of wood, but that made it a little bit lighter. So that works for now. That's what I'm going to start my seeds in, because I can't buy a whole greenhouse. This area back here was all garbage. It was wood garbage, that's the last of it. And it was like a couple trees had fallen down and they were cut up and all piled. It was a pile like this big. We've cleared that out, graded it. I had some help on that, which was really good. But as you can see, I have a really small area. I'm not doing a lot, but I'm working my butt off. And if you want to start a farm and you have to do it on a budget, it's really hard to get grants. As a beginning farmer, maybe year 2, it'll be easier for me to get a grant. But year 1 on a budget, this is what I've had to do so far, and I'm making it look great. I'm really excited about what I'm doing. I can see the potential as I walk around. I mean, you might watch this video and be like, man, this guy works in this, this trashy area, but there's a lot of potential here. And right in the back there is clean horse pasture. I'm right on the water, and when you're looking at a piece of land, I found that I always wanted to find that perfect piece of land that I could just insert myself onto, and that's not going to be the case if you're looking for farmland. You want to look for a diamond in the rough that has this big, awful trailer on it, and some piles of stuff, and work your patootie off, get some volunteers in, get some people in, and make it happen. You just got to be resourceful. Craigslist has been a huge thing for me. And I would say the most beneficial tools have been Craigslist for me. I've gotten a lot of stuff off that. My barrels to store the grain, some old nursery supplies from a nursery that was closing, was where I got my greenhouse plastic, and my website. My website does all my sales for me. So I've gotten a lot of CSA members that way, specifically because I'm new in an area and starting out. People have been needed to find me, and I had the farm website and registered on localharvest.org and Real Time Farms and Google Places, a couple other places, and people are finding me, and that's how I'm making sales. And when people come see the farm and the difference that I'm making, and they know that it's buggy here, they know that it was this diamond in the rough, and I'm hopefully shaping it into a diamond without $1 million. It's just innovation and a dream, and making it happen. So that's kind of it for this video. I hope it shed some insight onto what people do. I've been reading magazines lately. I've seen a few things where these farmers are starting out and it's former hedge fund guys or really rich guys, and that's not a reality for the young farmer. People who have been working at six-figure incomes and have $1 million to spend. I feel like at the end of the day, when I look around here and I know what it used to be, this trailer is mine too. I got that off Craigslist. Yet another thing off Craigslist. But when I look around here and see what it used to be and what it is now and what I know it's going to become, because I know this is turning into a barn. That wood is not staying there forever. It's white oak. It's becoming a barn. And these I'm going to clean up even further than they are now. This is all going to be grass, and there's all going to be fields planted here and fields planted on the other side there. There's stuff that I've tilled. When I look around and see what it's going to be, I get inspired, and I know that someday if I have that $1 million, or if I have the money to not start a farm with no money, which is what this video is about, that I could do it in my sleep. It would be so easy. So if you're starting a farm out and you're doing it on the cheap, keep your chin up. There's going to be a lot of setbacks, a lot of frustrations. I don't go to bed happy every single night, and there's a lot of stress, but you can do it if you keep a positive attitude and just be creative, man. Just whatever comes your way, just say, well, I have no choice but to figure out how to do this, because no one's going to do it for me. And that's really powerful. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'll do more like this as the year develops, and hopefully everything works out. All right. Oh yeah, I should probably plug my website. If you made it this far and you want more helps, information, tips, I'm not only a beginning farmer, but I've interviewed people from all over the country on how to farm, the business of farming, and I actually know a real lot about it. So visit me at farmmarketingsolutions.com. Thanks.